What up, team? Here you are, live with Big Boys Boxing once again. I'm Jono, your host, and as per usual, let me get a few things sorted here. We'll get the show on the road. First things first, sounds on. A bit of a different change in tunes today. Sound check. We good? Alright, so Anthony Joshua came out with a statement, which we'll get to in just a moment. He says Andy Ruiz beat him with a lucky punch. Real? When I heard this, I was like, come on, are you serious? Are you for real? The article is in the description if anybody would like to read that for themselves and come to their own conclusions. But just to give me a sec here and we'll get to the quotes that he made himself. Let's get this up on screen here. Here we go. Okay. So the quotes here. Where do we start? By a lucky punch. By a punch sent from the gods, Joshua says. Makes me think of Charles Martin. Where was his punch from the gods? I don't know what concussion is, but for sure, after the fight, I didn't know what round the fight was stopped in. Yeah, he got concussed from that punch in the third round that put him down initially. I'm just shocked it took 4 more rounds for Ruiz Jr. to get me out of there. Well, okay. He took his time after he hurt you, Joshua. Unlike you did when you put him down. It wasn't the luck, it was your mistake. Let me concuss Ruiz Jr. He won't get up. He won't get back up. Well, you hit him with a good punch. He went down. He wasn't concussed and he did get up. Ruiz Jr. got hit by a flash knockdown. He was still raw. He wasn't well done. He wasn't cooked. No, he wasn't. But you didn't see that until after the fight and you watched it on tape. I should have left him a little longer. But the instinct in me was boom. I ended up getting caught with a left hook to the top of the head. Yeah, well, I thought it was a temple shot, to be honest. Right behind the ear, and that fucks with your equilibrium and does give you concussion. He ain't that skilled. He's a good fighter. Well, that's a kind of a contradictory comment in itself. He's a good fighter. I guess he means he's got a lot of dog in him. He's a fighter. He's a warrior. But he ain't that skilled. Maybe he isn't that skilled, but I think he is pretty skilled. He's got a very good up jab. He uses his attributes to the best of his ability. He uses that speed and the animal and that fighter in him to win fights. Anthony Joshua didn't use his best attributes in that fight. he underestimated Andy Ruiz once he put him down. He thought, okay, I can just dive in and beat the shit out of him. Well, the tables got turned on you there, Joshua. So that's it for the quotes. But the way I see it, the only luck involved in this fight was Jarrell Miller popping dirty and Andy Ruiz getting the call up. That's the only part of luck that was involved in this fight, in my opinion. Now, I really do hope Anthony Joshua isn't fully believing what he's saying here, because if he thinks Andy Ruiz isn't that skilled and he was easy to put down, then he's overlooking him once again. If that's the case, he didn't learn from a mistake. Didn't learn from his mistake in the first place. What an idiot! What a freaking idiot! So, let me get a few invites sent out here. See if anybody wants to jump on. Regulars, I've just sent an invite via Hangouts. I'll also send a link on Discord for those who are involved with Discord. So that's there as well. Anybody who would like to jump on, feel free to do so. So we've still got the drama going on with this rematch that's supposed to be in Saudi Arabia on the 7th of December. So Andy Ruiz and his team really don't want to go to Saudi Arabia. They want the fight run back in New York. It is what it is, you know. I've also noticed that the Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz fight has been pushed back even further than it had been before. It's getting into late November. I think it was the 25th. So that kind of brings a little bit of interest to me. They're trying to get that fight closer to the Ruiz-Joshua rematch. And as we know, last time they fought, I think it was the week before, Deontay Wilder fought Dominic Breazeale, knocked him out spectacularly in the first round, and it seemed Joshua had put a bit of pressure on himself to try and get a spectacular knockout, kind of like Eddie Ruiz did. Like Deontay Wilder did. And maybe that contributed to him rushing in like an idiot against Ruiz. Maybe they're trying to do the same thing. If Deontay Wilder can get a spectacular knockout against Luis Ortiz, then maybe Joshua might feel a bit of pressure again to perform. So we'll see what happens. We have Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio, and Tommy Temper in the house. How are you today, boys?
Better swing the mic around. It's always a good idea to speak into the mic. That's what they taught me at broadcasting school.
Wow, broadcasting school. Who's Flash?
I only drove past the broadcasting school, my friend.
Close enough. You can still claim it.
Yeah, good to be on, Jono. Saw you live streaming. I've got a little bit of time. Let me share it with Jono. Let me return the compliment. You was on my show the other day. Let me return the compliment.
Awesome. Great to have you on, man.
Certainly.
Are you there, Tommy? It must be busy at the moment. He'll join. Oh, he's gone.
Where is he?
He was there. He's gone now.
Damn.
Oh,
Damn.
Never mind.
Disappeared, just like gone with the wind. What's going on, Tommy?
All goods. All right, so I was just giving a bit of opinion about this lucky punch statement that Anthony Joshua came out with, and
Yeah.
comments like Andy Ruiz isn't that skilled, but he's a good fighter. What's your take on it, man?
Well, yeah, I did a video on it, and my take on it is that I don't consider it a lucky punch. I look at it more as a lucky scenario. It was a lucky scenario for Ruiz, because there you had a man who had Wilder on his mind. All the talk was on Wilder, Joshua Wilder. When are you gonna arrange the fight with Wilder? Offer him some proper money and he'll take the fight. This, that, and the third. So Wilder was big on his mind, A. And then B, Big Baby, who'd been talking a lot of Big Baby, Big Belly, Pincushion Miller, who'd been talking a lot of smack about him, drops out of the fight with multiple PEDs in his system. So at the 11th hour, now comes Andy Ruiz, and it was just like a perfect storm for Ruiz. I mean, for Andy Ruiz to come in and do the thing. Clearly, Joshua wasn't in. It was a bad scenario for him mentally. It seems. So it seems in retrospect. It was a bad scenario for him mentally. All the ups and downs, this and that, going back and forth mentally. And now Andy Ruiz comes in and now pretty much he's overlooking him. And so I don't consider it a lucky punch for Ruiz, but I do consider it a lucky scenario fortunate scenario for Ruiz.
Yep, fair enough. I was just saying, just before you jumped on, it seems they've pushed that Wilder versus Ortiz fight back. It's gotten back to like the 25th of November now, so it's getting pretty close to where this rematch is going to happen. Do you think they're trying to kind of apply that same kind of pressure if Wilder gets another spectacular knockout? Is Joshua going to put pressure on himself again? And
well, trick me once, shame on you. Trick me twice, shame on me. So it's understandable that, in my live stream, when Joshua knocked down Ruiz, I was saying, I said verbally, I didn't say it to myself, I said out loud, I said, don't rush in.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do not, you saw that, do not rush in. That's when Joshua just knocked down Ruiz, and what did he do? He ran right in. He ran right in. And that was, we was talking about it live. And I was saying, well, Joshua should not allow himself to be pressured by what Wilder has just done. Wilder had just knocked out Brazil in a minute and a half, a minute and 10 seconds, something silly.
Yeah. And
I knew that Joshua would be thinking, damn, I got to top that. But how can you top that? And by this time now, you're in the third round, so you shouldn't even be thinking about topping that. But I knew that from a psychological point of view, he was probably thinking, I'm over here, New York, Madison Square Garden, I've got to impress. And I thought that he would be thinking that. And of course, he's admitted subsequently that he was thinking that. He felt pressured by what Wilder had done. But you cannot do that. So it shows that as a professional, it shows that Joshua has got a lot of mental growing to do as a professional, because from a professional's standpoint, trying to better another man in another fight in different circumstances, it just doesn't make sense.
No, he's got to learn to shut that emotion out, doesn't he?
Shut it out. You can only run your race. I can't look at what's on your I can't look at what's on your plate and start lusting after it, fantasize. Oh, I wish I had Jono's. I wish I had Jono's lamb chop. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. You can only deal with what's on your plate. Stay in your lane. Run your own race.
Definitely. And I think if Joshua can stick to his guns, stick to his technique, stick to his boxing, he's got a very good chance of beating Ruiz.
Hello.
Tommy, you made it, mate.
Sorry, guys. My hangouts is doing some weird stuff tonight, but I'm in.
You're in now. It's all good.
Wicked. We were a bit concerned when you just dropped off like that. We thought, what the hell's happened to Tommy?
No, I'm all good. I'm here.
What's going on with Tommy?
Just a few IT problems.
IT issues, okay.
You haven't been running any live streams on your second channel, mate?
No, I haven't. I've been cut long story short, I've been recovering from a broken leg, so I've been holding it down. But I'm through most of it now, so I'll get it kicking soon. Don't worry.
Good. Well, I hope that leg's healing good.
Thanks, man.
All right, so what are your take? What's your take, Tommy, on the comments from Anthony Joshua about the lucky punch and Andy Ruiz isn't that skilled, not a good fight. He's a good fighter, but he was easy to knock down. That sort of stuff.
Well, if he was easy to knock down, why didn't AJ do it again? And also, lucky punch. Which one of those punches was the lucky punch?
I think he's inferring that the first one that put him down was the lucky punch. Because he
must have been very lucky.
Yeah, he seemed to imply that he was concussed from then on. So he was a bit surprised it took... Well, his words, I think, were he was shocked that Andy Ruiz took 4 more rounds to get him out of there.
Shocked?
I kind of looked at that.
Just repeat that again.
I kind of thought that
It was a lucky punch that put him down. Why wasn't he able to his mojo back and win the fight if it was just one punch? No, I don't buy that. Maybe that it took all his confidence away. Yes, but that's more of a psychological issue than anything else. And he's a boxer. He should be able to, with people throwing punches at you.
Yeah, definitely. For anybody else who might like to join who hasn't got a link, I've just dropped the link in the chat. If anybody else wants to join. Alright, so to wrap that situation up, I really hope Anthony Joshua isn't fully believing the words that are coming out of his mouth, because to me it sounds like he's underestimating Andy Ruiz, and for me that was his biggest mistake in the first instance, and it could happen again. If he's not learning from his mistakes, then he's an idiot. Sorry, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, he needs to. Well, he was in there with the guy, wasn't he?
He was.
He was in there with Ruiz, so I think he will know better than that the guy is to be taken seriously. I think if you get knocked down 4 times, I mean, I think surely you're going to take the guy seriously. You're not going to overlook the same guy twice, surely.
I hope not. I really hope not. Yeah. So,
what do you guys make of the pictures of AJ looking a lot slimmer? To me, that's a sign that he's taking the rematch seriously.
Well, for me, he's going to have to be able to cope with that speed, and using a lot of movement is one way to stop Andy Ruiz throwing as many punches. If he's not in range all the time, then he'd definitely be better off. Because there's no doubt about it, Andy Ruiz, if he gets off a 7, 8, 9 punch combination, AJ could be in trouble again. You know,
Yeah.
that speed is a killer. And I could see Anthony Joshua fighting a lot like he did against Joseph Parker the
That's what you
second
need
time
to
around.
do.
Safe and boring.
Well, a win's a win, and if he wants those
Yep,
belts
yep.
back, he's got to stink the place out. I think is the best way he could beat Andy Ruiz.
Yeah.
I honestly think he needs to come into this fight about 240. He can't really come in much heavier. Look thin because we're so used to seeing him so big, but he should be a better boxer at that weight, in my opinion.
Indeed.
More effective.
240 on the dot would be good.
Yeah.
I don't think...
Marla's in here.
Oh, Marla, you joined us. Hey, good to have you in, brother. How are you?
What's up, man?
Good, man.
Awesome. All right, so we better get your take on the comments from Anthony Joshua.
I think it's just getting comical, to be honest with you. I mean, there's no way it was lucky. I mean, if you watch the mistake AJ made when he went inside, if you watch it, the first left hook Ruiz threw, it only just sort of clipped him, but didn't do a lot of damage to him. But didn't move. He stayed in the same place. If you watch AJ's legs, he was just staying right where he was. So Ruiz was able to use the first left hook as a range second one.
Yeah, for sure.
So there was no luck in it at all.
Like I was saying early in the stream, for me, the only luck that was involved in this fight was Jarrell Miller popping dirty, so Andy Ruiz could get the fight.
Yeah.
But I seem to be having a few...
Yeah. Laugh when he said that Ruiz doesn't...
Where you go, Muller? Carry on.
He said Ruiz didn't have a lot of skill. What do you got? He beat your ass.
He beat it good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've also got Get the Smoke in the house. How are you today, brother? Are you there? I've got a bit of a connection issue there at the moment.
Oh.
You're cutting in and out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay.
Cutting in and out again still, mate.
Yeah, AJ...
Bit of a buzz going on there.
Looked like he's taking it seriously, apparently. I agree, getting down to 240 would be great for him. The problem I still have with AJ fighting Ruiz, though, I mean, how much he tries to run and be slick, at some point, Ruiz is going to get inside and land punches on him.
Yeah, he's got to tie him up if he gets inside, eh? He has
to. Take the power. Yeah, can he take the power? He's got to tie him up or something, man.
Yeah.
But, he's going to get hit in this fight, though. That's the thing. No, at some point, Ruiz is going to get inside and put the power on him. And that's the problem. Can he take it?
Definitely.
Because if he stuns him, it will just be a repeat of the first fight.
Well, the problem is that one of the problems with them is the shorter fighters, and two, the clinch game. The clinch game. He appeared to have a particularly good clinch game. If he can develop a clinch game, he's had ample amount of months now. If he can develop a clinch game, then on the inside, he should be able to. Part of a good clinch game is smothering your opponent.
Yep.
If you all remember, I think it was Vladimir Klitschko versus Povetkin.
Yep.
You remember that fight, and it was almost the techniques Vladimir was using to nullify the short mass.
Douglas.
He was basically Muay Thai clinching. That's the two gloves wrapped down. Muay Thai clinching Povetkin, and then clinching with him, and then punching on the clinch.
Yep.
Very, very dirty, but it was very dirty, but very effective. I think that a more sophisticated, a less dirty version of that is something that Anthony jacked into to nullify the close game.
Yeah, it's like when he got hurt too, AJ. He had no composure. Try and hold on. He didn't know to slide down the ropes and try and get away. He was bending over. He was turning away from Ruiz. It was just like terrible.
That's no clinch game.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't have a clinch game.
Yep, we got you now. Get the smoke.
Hey boys, hey, what's up, Rafi, Tommy?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
man. I'm not sure who the other person is on
Marla.
the channel, but Marla. Oh, I was just listening to what you guys were saying, and Rafi, there's been ample time, but Vlad developed that clinch game over years. I mean, he was getting his ass whooped pretty handily by journeymen. The clinch game, like in what his 65th fight kind of thing, it took him a while before the Povetkin, before that got there, and I don't think there's I don't think there's enough. I don't know who he's going to bring in to teach him the clinch game. Yeah, I don't know that there's enough.
Yep. Just excuse me for a second, fellas. I'm going to change over to my phone. I'm having some issues. Be back in a sec, but continue chatting.
It makes me think that he's head movement, which is one of the, I think what Marlo was alluding to, that left hook was set up because AJ's head movement has been horrible. People have been talking about that, but also, once his instincts are, when he gets hit, he doesn't. His instinct is to. I mean, unless you're going to develop a clinch game and also change his instincts as a fighter in a few months, especially saying stuff like that fight that was a lucky punch. It doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well for his preparation. He's working on a clinch game, unless it's just a bunch of misdirection. And he actually is fixing the flaws in the he was able to exploit. But at this point, I mean, him saying that it was a punch sent from the gods smacks to me of, like if it's divine intervention, if the gods themselves are against AJ in a fight. I don't think he's approaching it anywhere near the sort of in the right mindset and with the right level of seriousness. It's still some time to make the fight, but at this point, hopefully this is just promotion.
You don't think he's serious about the rematch?
I think if pegs and circles and cuzzos and lucky punches and I don't know what he's doing. No, unicorns. I don't think he's at all focused. He's doing media rounds, and he's probably not even ready to be doing that. He doesn't seem like it doesn't time.
Yeah, I think I think it's just a whole lot of talking. Seems like he's a bit on to AJ, with these comments from Lennox, and he's gotten a bit shitty about that, and now he's gotten a bit shitty about the comments from Ruiz post-fight. But all in all, I guess
Ruiz has been talking a lot of shit, though.
He has. He's been talking a hell of a lot of shit. Character too, because it's not usually like him.
But we don't. But what we found out about Ruiz is we don't know him, because this Ruiz. Who's in Ruiz we thought we knew.
Hell no.
He's buying all the, when you start buying all the gold chains, it's like made it.
Yeah.
He should be buying property. He should be buying property. He should be buying houses, meaningful stuff. He's going mad.
That's what he did after he had that fight against Parker. He went and built a few houses and made some wise investments. The money was gone quote kind of thing pays off in the long run. But
apparently bought his mama house. Apparently bought his mother a house this time.
bought his mama a house.
Yeah.
Hey, he bought his mama a beaut.
You just got to hope. A lot of people are talking about it, man. You got to hope he doesn't do a Buster Douglas and show up for the rematch with AJ, and he doesn't have the.
Yeah.
And he
And
ends
all
up
those
getting his
Snickers.
ass kicked. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like he's the death for Reach.
Oh, educate me. What's that?
That's new money. New money. So with new money, you buy a Rolex instead of a Cartier.
Okay.
Yeah. You splurge. Oh.
yeah.
Well, if he was smart about it, he would be thinking about the fight getting it the second time around. Then he's in for the big bucks.
Then.
Super fight with Wilder. That's you're so right, man. And thinking about the money for this fight, but if you got confidence you can win it, just go in and win it. And then when you fight Wilder, you imagine if Ruiz knocks out AJ twice, the fight with Wilder will be huge. It'll be a fight in America, and we got to get at least 50% away. He'll be made to take any less.
As the unified champ, he's got to get 50%. As the unified champ, who's beat the previous unified champ twice, 50% in that instance. I mean, I always say, I don't know if I've said it on this show, but I always say there's a thing in combat sports where you win the championship, but you become the champ when you've defended the championship.
It'd be a different story if he had worked himself into a mandatory position. There wouldn't be this rematch stuff to deal with, and he'd be the man. But as it stands, he got given a voluntary opportunity, and part of a voluntary opportunity is if you win, you have to win again. To be at the moment, he's just holding the belts. He's not the man.
Correct.
He needs to get that through his head. Stop being a freaking.
Stop being a prima donna. Damn, you just beat the guy once, but like you say, to be the man, you got to defend your belt. You don't just win it once, right? Okay, right about now you're holding it to become the champ, to become the champion. Defend your belt, and then you can start pushing your chest out and walking around like a rooster. Maybe buy yourself another Rolls.
Yeah, a real car instead of a
Yeah, I think there's degrees, and I think he's the man enough to not be dragged to Saudi Arabia if he doesn't want to, and not be actually want to. I think that that shellacking he put on AJ and the contract he signed, probably even judging by the way everybody's acting, says there's a rematch clause, but there's not a location set in that rematch clause. So, the extent that he is the man that says, Eddie, have all the press conferences you want. I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. Seems like he's the man enough to do.
Yeah. Well, it remains to be seen to a certain extent. Unfortunately, it's not public knowledge of the contract. Eddie Hearn's come out and talked about Joshua having the last say on which to me says yes, the challenger, that the guy who's holding the belts right now still has to agree to go to a certain venue, and picking a place like Saudi Arabia with all the social conflict that's going on there, it could be very to go there. They might have been better off just trying to get him to go to Cardiff.
I was going to say about Cardiff, I mean, they had the option, Team Ruiz had the option to didn't want to go there. Now, then they say they want to go to neutral territory. Now, neutral territory has been established to money, and so they've gone to neutral territory. But now, Team Ruiz is saying he doesn't want to go to Saudi either. two venues he's kind of he's trying to turn down.
Yeah, I wonder if Eddie's going to try it next. It would be 3 venues.
That's just as bad, isn't it? I know a place where they can hold its neutral territory.
All right.
New Zealand. No problem down here, man.
You got some good land down there.
Unfortunately, the biggest covered stadium, because it's winter. Well, it'll be summer down here at December 7th, so we can have it at Eden Park, 50,000 in there, no problem. But I don't know if anybody would go because there's not that many boxing fans down here. But I'd go. Joe.
Yeah, you definitely get some airtime.
Yeah.
They should just hold
camera pans around the stadium.
They should just hold the fight in America again. I reckon conquer America, and it went bad. To extinguish the ghost, go back to where you lost and try and sort it.
Well, there was Lee, wasn't there? Running it back in the place where it happened.
Yeah.
And I'm not totally against that whatsoever. I think that's a pretty good idea. If Joshua did go back to MSG and did the deed, took care of Ruiz in front of got his belts back there, wouldn't that be a massive profile boost for his American profile? It would be massive.
It would be huge, but what if he goes there and lose again? Everybody be calling him a total and absolute imbecile.
Quite possibly.
Hey, Jono, let me ask you a question.
Yo.
Let me ask you a question. Do you play to your strengths, or do you play?
You've got to play to your strengths.
Thank you.
You have to.
So, to me, it would be illogical to go back to where the ghost lays. To me, the most logical thing would have been to go to Cardiff if that wasn't vetoed, get your mojo back, and then why not go back later?
Well, I think they've got more of a leg to stand on trying to have it in Cardiff than because there's not, the political issues going on in Cardiff. The only reason Andy Ruiz would have to Cardiff is I don't want to.
Yeah.
So,
but I wonder if you ask Ruiz now, where would you prefer to go, Saudi or Cardiff? I wonder if he would have had a change of mind, change of heart.
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Seeing the Rivas fight and seeing the Parker fight, where the guy wasn't allowed to fight on the inside, I wouldn't go to a place where in like 2 matchroom huge fights, the guy wasn't allowed to fight on the inside. If Ruiz is not allowed to work on the inside, he has no shot. If they're just going to keep breaking up and let him fight at AJ's range. So if I'm Ruiz, I'm not falling for like false dichotomies, Cardiff or Saudi Arabia. Like that's the only places in the world you can.
Doesn't that come down to the choice of referee though, not the venue?
It also comes down to the style of fight, right? I mean, I'm not sure. In each place does the culture of how they rep fights. In the States, they let fights go longer than their UK rivals, it seems. And now it seems like inside fighting is maybe a rarity amongst refs in the UK. It certainly seems amongst matchroom refs.
Who was the ref for Rivas versus let's look that up, because I know the ref for Parker versus AJ was
an Italian fellow.
Italian. I'll never forget that name. Prick.
But was Ruiz doing any? Was there any clinching with AJ?
Not from Ruiz, but Ruiz never clinches when he gets her hands.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
Ruiz doesn't clinch on the inside. When he's on the inside, he's throwing hands. So how that?
Because the same way they were doing it with Rivas. Rivas was also working on the inside. The same way they were doing with Parker. Parker was also working on the inside.
Yeah.
So you think that the inside and was throwing punches on the inside, and there was no clinching
If
going on,
history
the
is any
referee would
guide
separate them.
to future behavior,
It's possible.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes, when the bigger guy is trying to throw hands, the ref just sees the big guy holding on, so he breaks them up. But
AJ's got no clinch game though, so I don't see where the clinches would be coming from.
Doesn't seem to. I mean, he gets Parker though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he did against Parker. Yeah.
No, but most of the clinch game came from the ref breaking them up.
Mm.
From just when they got close.
Indeed. Where's the referee for this match? Just looking at it. Victor Lachlan. Okay, yeah, he's a UK ref. They had a UK ref. That's interesting.
The UK ref in MSG.
No, for White versus Rivas. Yeah.
Yes.
Because there was a bit of breaking up going on there. It wasn't as extreme, I didn't think, as
I didn't see any egregious breaking up in that fight. I didn't notice any egregious breaks.
I mean, it's a make eyes. Like I said, we might just let fights go on the inside more in the States than they do in the UK, and that made favorite styles. If a guy like Rivas, who just sits there and puts his hand on your chest and throws it, forward, pot shot you and takes. If he's not allowed to lay on you on the inside, then that neutralizes a big part of his game.
Indeed.
That's interesting.
Interesting indeed. I wonder if they've got a referee. They probably won't have a referee sorted for that until the belt agreement gets signed, I suppose. Or goes to court, whichever way it.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get a couple of opinions. Oh, Lunt's in the house as well. How are you today, brother?
Oh, good, John. How's it going?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all. But get your quick takes from Anthony Joshua about the lucky punch and Ruiz isn't that skilled and so on and so forth. What do you reckon, mate?
No such thing, you don't accidentally punch somebody. You can't accidentally get punched when the person's throwing a punch. You don't throw a punch by accident. There was a lot of punches, he hit with more than one punch.
Yep.
But you just got to know, Anthony Joshua can't think that Andy Ruiz is faster than him, and Joshua's always been stiff. He's always not had a tank. He's always showed these flaws, but if you think Ruiz exposed him, he can't think that Ruiz exposed him, it was luck. Ruiz beat him by luck. You need to, as a fighter, you need to think that that person beat you by chance, that he can't do it again at 100. That's a good mentality. I think it's perfect for him if he came out and says, you can't be humble when you get beat. Beating people, once you get beat, you need to have a bit of aggression, you need to have that fire again.
Yeah, you got to strive to be able to do things better.
Everybody keeps saying about this, like the contract. Andy Ruiz will have in the contract that he needs to have a rematch, but the difference is Lewis only managed to win that court case because he was getting refused a rematch. Ruiz isn't refusing the rematch, he's refusing the location.
Yeah, but Eddie Hearn's talked about Joshua having the final say on the location. Does that mean to you the location, or does it mean Ruiz has to agree to a location? Different kettles of fish.
I don't know. Eddie Hearn also came out and said that Saudi Arabia wasn't even, was other places with big bit of money. So if you pick Saudi Arabia and it wasn't the biggest offer, then it's Anthony Joshua. Like he lives in the Middle East quite a lot, so maybe he's thinking it's no home advantage for me, but like he does feel at home in the Middle East.
He spends a lot of time in Dubai, doesn't he?
See, Ruiz is you agree to the rematch, then you have to agree to the terms in the rematch. He must believe that there's something in that rematch where he can argue the venue. He's always, every time he puts out a tweet, he always says the rematch is on. He's no denying there's a rematch, because that would be breach of contract.
Yeah.
But within that contract there will be certain, the fight must be held. Like Anthony Joshua had to take the rematch within so many days, then the fight must be announced within so many days, on for 3 years. So the rematch must happen by a set date.
Yep.
I mean, Ruiz is probably just trying to create a bit of pressure here. Eddie Hearn say, "Look, I'll give you 15 mil."
I don't think so. I think it's a move for that IBF belt. I think that I can afford to let that. If Al Heyman and the BBC turn around and know that Kaunaki's got a shot to fight Pulev for that vacant belt, because they've already petitioned for that. That wasn't just Pulev, Kaunaki's team petitioned as well. So if they want that belt vacant so they can fight for it. The BBC could give him under the table money to say make that belt become vacant, and when they've got that belt we'll make a unification fight if you beat Joshua. So if you beat you, you're losing the belts anyway. So if you beat Joshua and you still manage to hold that WBO and the WBA Super, if we manage to get that IBF belt, give you a unification with him before an undisputed Wilder. Like they can agree to that. They can put him in place for him and maybe make him say make this fight no happen on the 7th of December and that IBF belt will be stripped. So he might take it to court and then agree halfway through the court case and say, alright, okay, as long as it goes over that deadline and that belt becomes vacant, that's where he'll make his most money.
It's amazing what a
Kaunaki's massive. 1 pound on Fox in America's good numbers.
It's amazing what a bit of pressure from a couple of high-ranked fighters can do. The IBF not long ago said they wouldn't stand in the way of the rematch, and then they also said that the WBO is next in the mandatory schedule. As they've come out from Pulev and Kaunaki, they've changed their tune. They want their mandatory fought, or they want that belt stripped. So
Pulev's argument was Pulev's actually been the number 1 ranked IBF fighter since October 2016. So, and before that, number 1 ranked in IBF. Before that, Joseph Parker was above him for I think 8 months. So
yeah, he was mandatory until he fought for that WBO belt.
So Pulev was for 8 months. Then Parker took his title shot with WBO. Pulev became number 1, and he's been that was in October 2016, and then obviously he got injured, and then he had to fight the final eliminator, which was last year. So what they're saying is you can't fight a final eliminator in October 2000 and not have your title shot till maybe 2021 now, because that would mean the IBF wouldn't have, nobody would have a mandatory IBF final to let that happen. So that's why they put in place that the fight with Pulev needs to happen before the 31st of May. So
I just wanted to make a couple of points. Just the one that the rematch would have been in the, but
Yes.
the actual fight for the rematch will be an entirely new contract, not the old contract. And then so they have to sign a new one, which has a new venue and all that stuff and whatever else they negotiate. And the other part was the Lennox Lewis won the Hasib Rahman case, was that he proved that it would do irreparable harm, proof that you had to do in order to force this fight. And Lennox Lewis argued that he's at the end of his career he would fight. So it was unlikely that he would get another title shot. So I'm interested to see how AJ is going to is being done to him by not enforcing this fight now. It seems like he at some other point could become champion. He's fairly young. In his champion, in his boxing career.
There's one other point. The other point is people are saying about this level 2. But the US, I think it's the Justice Department have released it. The actual terror threat in Saudi Arabia is quite high. They actually give warnings of drone attacks at airports, and there's never been a drone attack, but their warning is for Westerners to stay in major cities and to stay away from, even though you're travelling there, stay away from airports and train stations and bus stations for fear of terrorists and drone attacks, which you don't have with other level 2. So that'll be funny to see how that plays out in court, where it's safe to travel to the country, but there's major warnings. You don't have that where, like, Mexico's different. I just wonder if that's the arrangements between America and Saudi Arabia, obviously because they're allies. But actual travel arrangements, it's advised not to travel to Saudi Arabia. That could, like, he's got some arguments, Andy Ruiz. Let's say that, but he needs to take the rematch. The rematch will be in the first contract. Will be he's agreed terms of that rematch. Maybe haven't been agreed, but we'll see. We'll see when it goes to court, because it looks like it's gone to court now, doesn't it?
It's looking to be. But that was a good subject to bring up. I was kind of going to lead into an article I've seen today on Boxing Scene. Trainer Manny Robles backs up the concerns that Team Ruiz has about travelling to Saudi. They're worried about the protection of the champion, as they're calling Ruiz at the moment. They've been told that they go not to take their woman who exists pretty much there.
Nah, see, that's a lot of things as well. In Saudi Arabia, a woman really, they only need to cover their hair scarf if they're in, like, a mosque or in some religious building. Like, it's not true. You don't need to wear a hijab. You need to wear a hijab. They need to cover their hair. They don't wear burqas. You don't need to just show your eyes and stuff. As a Westerner, you're free to walk about. Obviously, you're in a religious your shoes and show respect. A woman must cover up her. You know what I mean? That's just respect. It's like that in every country in the Middle East. It's no different in Saudi Arabia. And it's completely different. But as a tourist, it's different.
Yeah, but are women allowed to drive in that country?
Haven't they just legalized that? Women driving?
Yeah, just last year.
I don't know. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's legal now.
Yeah, but you still need your husband's permission to leave the house. So if you want to drive a car, your husband still needs to leave permission. So
Is that?
Hey, you know, Steve,
no, go ahead, bro.
all right, it seems to me that the best option is just go to court and get the situation sorted.
Yeah, or have the rematch in New Zealand.
That's my tinfoil. For me, I'm definitely curious, and I don't know. Urgent announce all stuff right now without having all the parties on board, and to me, it seems like a big distraction from subjects, which was Dillian White's failed test and the gloves and that whole debacle. That is the White refight. And this just seems, convenient that this is now what everybody's talking about, like lucky punches being nights. Yeah, I don't. It seems fantastical to me. If you wanted to have a fight, it seems like you would organize it a lot better than this, just for the sake of your sponsors or whoever is paying for this. I don't think they want to hear the champion and there's a travel ban and about politics and all this stuff. It seems like this could have been handled a lot more professionally at the very least, if this is supposed To be
Bit
safe.
different. In Saudi Arabia, you've got a sports minister. That sports minister's part of the royal family. Then he's got like cousins and second cousins. They're all worth hundreds of millions of pounds. Just say, right, I want to host this fight. He can go to his cousin who's the sports minister. As long as he gets his permission, you can hold a fight. So there could be, when they say that somebody's paying for this fight, in Saudi Arabia, there's literally thousands of people who've got that kind of money. My biggest worry is, can you imagine, say, alright, I'm going to get Anthony Joshua and I'll host that for 40 million quid. I'm worried that another cousin's now turned into Floyd and turned around and said to Floyd, if you fight on the 7th of December he had, I'll give you 100 million. Because these cousins, like, they put each other in jail and stuff and love each other. They put the royal family and extorted money at them. Hundreds of millions of pounds and then let them go. They held them in the Ritz. It was only new. They held them in the Ritz hotel. They didn't. They held them hostage for 9 months and they had to pay their way out. And they were all cousins. They were all cousins of the royal family. That same guy was took off who let women drive corruption. So he extorted money out of all the people who were corrupting people and let them go. So like, there's loads of people who have got that kind of money. You to the royal family, you could be 250 in line for the throne, but you're worth hundreds of millions of pounds in that country. And they show their wealth. But this could be a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old whose dad's buying them this for a present.
Money's like water.
Money's like oil.
Well, money is oil. Okay. But yes, get the smoke. Dillian White's B sample hasn't been tested. We have heard from the WBC. They've said yes, if Dillian comes back clear, then he will be reinstated as the interim champion or challenger.
Is it the UK sample?
Yes, but who knows how long that sample is going to.
Contaminated.
I can tell you exactly how long. It's simple. There's, if you read the UCAD rules, when UCAD bust you, when Dillian White got caught in that A sample, you have 3 options. Option 1, accept the charge. Option 2, appeal the A sample. Or option 3, ask for the B sample to be opened. Dillian, the appeal process on the sample A, so he can appeal that sample for the next year. He can keep going back and saying, no, it definitely was a soft drink, and they keep saying no, and then at the end of the 12 months they'll make a decision, and they will then open the B sample at the end of the decision. So at the end they're going to open the B sample, because if it's a dirty A sample, eventually the B sample gets opened. That's what happens with Tyson Fury. It's what happens with everybody. You get that 12 months to appeal. Produce some kind of sample, like an energy drink bottle, and get to them. They pull that, test it, and say, right, we found the same supplement in there. But he's not doing that, unless you're aiming for, they can't find you. Like, so he's going to be found guilty unless he proves where that comes from, and then they'll open the B sample. That's the way it works. But if they appeal the A sample, they can't open the B sample. It's illegal. You're appealing the A sample. It's Dillian White has time to provide information, and he needs to come up with evidence. So you have 12 months to go through all your food, all your stuff that you've took, and find out where the sample came from, why it was dirty. That's how it works. So 12 months.
Yes.
WBC may not sanction a fight.
Well, he's not suspended from fighting. It's only his position as interim and mandatory that's suspended. So he's not like officially suspended from WBC, which is interesting. But because he's involved with this WBC investigation, if he's confident that his B sample would request UCAD to open that, couldn't he?
No, he's appealing the A sample. He would need to stop his appeal and then for the B sample to be open.
So he does have a bit of control over what happens, though. If he wants to get it cleared up with the WBC, then he can take the steps with UCAD that B sample tested, and that's what the WBC want, to be able to clear him. Until then, he's going to be position will continue to be provisionally suspended.
The biggest problem is with the British Boxing Board, because when UCAD obviously start testing for the British Boxing Board, they gave UCAD the power for UCAD to make decision on like anything that was drug related for the board not to be involved. So when UCAD made the rule that when they find somebody dirty an A sample and they appeal the A sample, they can't actually take their licence off them or suspend them until they have like a. So that means that somebody eventually, when they open that B sample, if Dilly White's B sample gets found dirty, it means that Duck was able to fight when he was dirty, and that the British Boxing Board of Control can't. It's only a heat, but they've no option, because if they can't obviously the drug testers or else they'd say we've caught this person and they say no, we've given him a licence, so they shot themselves in the foot.
It's interesting. It's government funded, isn't it?
Yep.
So it's not like they're going to be profiting off direct process, but the process to me seems illogical. You know, if someone's allegedly got something, for me, they shouldn't be allowed to fight until the issue's cleared up. But
yeah, that would seem like a logical thing. And then you continue to fight, or you don't get cleared and you don't continue to fight.
Yeah, instead of this taking up to 12 months in Tyson Fury's case to sort out the issue.
But even if he's getting a sanctioned fight, isn't he outside of the rankings now? Didn't they strip him from the rankings? So what would it mean for the winner or the loser?
I think he's still in the
meantime.
I think he's still in the rankings, is he not?
I think he's still ranked number one. They suspended his position as interim and mandatory, so
yeah, he was dropped from the WBA, but he's not dropped from the WB as far as I'm aware.
Okay, good.
I'm just looking at the WBC webs. Pretty
yeah, he is in the WBC rankings.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's the up-to-date ones. If I look at the Boxer ones, Fight News ones, they quite often aren't up to date. But, where are we?
I don't know. I just don't know why Dilly White didn't request for his B sample to be opened. It was the 17th. This is another thing people need to stop confusing it. The sample that they caught was on the 17th of June. The sample they took on the 17th of June was found dirty. It wasn't the same one that on the 17th of July. But VADA said they had a test on the 17th of July. We're talking a month before
That's
that,
right.
when a lot of people were saying, oh, UCAD found them dirty. They had a clean test with VADA. It was a completely different date.
It was just a coincidence that Dillian was informed of the results on July 17th. So
they took their full, because they'll have a process as well. See, when they find that, take that off him on the 17th of June, UCAD will have a rule that says when we open that sample and if we find it any irregularities, to then present to the fighter. So they've waited their 30 days, but just happened to fall on the 17th.
Yeah.
Everything will be in days. It's the same with Dilly White. Dilly, he'll not be able to publicly say anything about it because he's appealing it. Once he's been through his appeal, he'll be able to release his story and say what happened. But request the B sample to be opened. He should have requested that straight away. But the same goes for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury knew that he'd been caught and decided, I'll drag this. So it's nothing new. It just so happens that it's been exposed this time.
Yeah. So we're pretty much right. That's all. With that situation, there's nothing really we can talk about. You know, all we can do is speculate at this stage. So it is what it is. We shall move on. Alright, another article I stumbled across this morning was Tyson had offered this fight that he's having down the track to a lot of different guys, where's the article? Give me a sec here, I'll find it. Povetkin was one of them. Here it is, I found it. Tyson Fury, we offered the fight to Miller. Povetkin, and Trevor Bryan. Those are all better than Otto Wallen, in my opinion.
Yeah, Miller's still suspended, though, isn't he? He's still going to be suspended by the time the fight comes around, isn't he?
His suspension finishes mid-season.
And the fight's in early September, am I correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah, I think that's the situation.
Tyson Fury's he's full of shit, isn't he? Ben's constantly coming out and saying we know we're fighting Wilder, so we're keeping to these big, taller opponents. Povetkin a fight. Really? Doesn't even make sense. Nobody they offer Povetkin a fight. Why are you going to offer a guy who's that short and trying to get you on the inside a fight when you're preparing for a big, tall? It doesn't make sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did offer him the fight. Here you go, we'll give you 20 grand. So basically didn't offer him the fight.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't realising this, but Tyson Fury is very clever. He knows that no matter what, he's going to guarantee himself a fight again. So his main objective is to fight unbeaten, highly ranked. Every fight he fights is an eliminator. Every single fight's an eliminator of an body or two. So if you just keep fighting these, fight the lowest caliber, a highly ranked, unbeaten opponent. There's loads of the rankings. There's loads of shit fighters with O's who have been overranked. That's what Tyson Fury will do. He'll clear that out for the next 2 years probably. He'll go fighting against Tyrone Stonks and he'll go through full list. He'll take everybody's O, every single person's O.
He might not have Spong. He got in trouble the other day. He might be in jail.
What did he do? What did Tyrone Spong do?
Oh, I can't remember what I read. He did something, got caught domestic abuse or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
He looks like a fat wrestler, Gibbs.
Nice.
Well, those Dutch kickboxers, because that's what he's a kickboxer originally. Those Dutch kickboxers are notorious.
Yeah.
Notorious for getting in trouble.
He's probably still working the doors and stuff, isn't he? He's probably working the doors.
Probably. And notorious, but getting on to Otto Wallen. Why is Fury fighting Southpaw?
He's got a sort that means something with the. Oh no, he used to actually. He doesn't anymore.
In preparation for Wilder. He's fighting.
Yeah, I think he's just. Do you know what it is? It's the fact that Otto Wallen's ranked with two governing bodies. Fight them, then you're getting the belts. But Otto Wallen actually the EBU European Union belt holder. He's actually a mandatory for Caballero.
He's not any stripped of it.
No, they gave it to Joe Joyce because Wallen got something happened and his coach got stabbed.
Yeah, his coach got mugged in New York and he couldn't take the fight with Caballero.
The Joe Joyce, after Joe Joyce, he'll be made mandatory again to unify that belt. But there's actually a vacant IBF belt just now. It's held the IBF Intercontinental belt, which is floating about. So I imagine that'll be put on as well. That'll be on the line. It's about fight, eliminate a fight all the time. As long as he keeps fighting people who are ranked, it keeps him. Tyson Fury will probably, if he end up becoming a mandatory anyway, he just.
Well, he got the WBO Intercontinental from.
Yeah.
So he's got that. That probably puts him in line for something.
Well, isn't in the WBO rankings anymore. He was. He's number 11 with the IBF, and number 3A. Those are his two rankings. So, in both cases, it's with the WBA full stop. What's with that? That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
They get into their rankings really because you need to fight people who are ranked in their bodies really to get into them. There's no anybody who's been ranked in WBA.
Okay.
He's never fought a WBA fight, I don't think, ever. In his whole career, I don't think he's ever fought a fight sanctioned by the WBA, apart from the Klitschko fight, maybe.
Klitschko.
That would have been it.
Fair enough. Interesting.
Yeah.
I find it weird that Bob Arum has got these Eastern European, these European fighters, Tyson Fury's US profile against fighters that aren't from the US.
Yeah. Wasn't the whole idea that he was going to fight USA fighters to boost his profile?
I guess maybe Arum's having trouble getting hold of any heavyweights. Only one he's still got in his stable. What was that?
Even in other people's statements, or else you don't have the money. Like Charles Martin, like to get Charles Martin to fight Tyson Fury with ESPN, you need to pay him millions. You need what he's getting just now.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're offering that.
I mean, the only other heavyweight they've got in their stable at the moment. So that's not going to be.
They let Ruiz go. They let Ruiz by himself out to be.
Yeah, Bob will be kicking himself about that.
For 800, what was it, 800 grand?
Yeah, 800 grand or something like that, yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
Goro, do you remember when Ruiz fought against Parker, the roasted Parker? Do you remember him going out and buying all the blind?
No, he didn't. He went and built houses. I think he bought.
Wait, so this suit on, he's got loads of suits and loads of gold rings, and it says "I will rise from the ashes" or something, and it's like a translated thing. And well back then, you should see he's got this. So
I think he
got to let him enjoy his money.
I think he buys a lot of that sort of thing anyway. I remember seeing him coming back from somewhere in Asia when he fought Torheimer, and he had heaps of bling on then as well, and he wouldn't have been making a lot of money in that. So maybe it's just his thing. He likes to try and look like he's rich. Maybe
he likes the floss. He likes the floss money. Nouveau riche.
He loves.
It's all rent. Yeah. You're renting that. He's renting that jewellery.
Ruiz puts on for the culture. You know, he came out to Nipsey Hussle, I should say. Sorry. It's part of that raps culture stuff.
He's a bling guy.
Blinged out. But you know, since we're today, and the sort of promotional style, how's it going under the radar that Lomachenko into a unification or into a unification through petitioning the governing body, but Terrence Crawford apparently can't do this thing. Loma gets this great opportunity, but it's all up to Spence, and Spence is ducking. Like, how come Bob Arum isn't saying for Crawford that he's doing for Loma, and how come no one's actually talking about it?
Which governing body is Loma mandatory for? Is it the WBO?
I think it's the WBC that they're about to fight for, right? The Luke Campbell fight? Right?
Yeah, no, well, if it's the WBC, then you're spot on. I was going to say if it's the WBO.
But I'm not sure. Verify. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I think it's the WBC.
Yeah. Well, that's the exact same situation with Spencer Crawford. It's the exact same story in Wilder as well. They could petition and try and force those fights, just as they have Lomachenko.
What did Spencer IBF? It would be IBFW. It's quoted as the WBC. But okay. I think that I think that is how bodies, as champs, they all have the same agreement within each other. You can petition to, if the champion won't fight, you can petition the sanctioning body to force the fight.
Yep, can be done. It's not impossible. The worst they can say is no, but if you don't try, you never know. So very interesting indeed. Sporting Icons made a good point in the comments. Tyson could have fought Pulev. He could have fought White. He could have tried to fight Usyk, Hunter, Kalnacki, Parker. Any of those fighters they could have tried to get, but they simply didn't, either because they're too expensive a risk. But, you know, Fury fighting Hunter, another American fighter. Kalnacki, another American fighter. Parker in the world and has said multiple times that he'd like to fight Fury.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
White said he'd fight Fury as well. Ended up, you know, I'll fight him if it's for the diamond belt. Then White says, okay. Or the WBC, he says, oh, the diamond belt. And he says, oh, nah. He can talk the talk. We know he likes to talk the talk, doesn't he? It's Tyson Fury.
Didn't his brother? I didn't see the interview. I didn't watch the interview, but didn't his brother in an IFL interview say that? Well, listen, we're getting big money for fighting easy fights.
Yeah.
Why not fight the easy fights?
That's it.
I think
Yeah.
that's very, very honest of him. You know, we just want the easy fights.
Why can't Tyson come out and be honest about it
But yeah,
to the media?
Tyson's everybody was either busy or ducking him, so that's why Ottawalan. That was his message to the American people.
Pretty blatantly clear that Tyson doesn't have much intention to fight tough fights. He's got the Wilder fight up his seat. And I'm not even convinced he's in any rush to take that fight.
Now, what I can see happening with this is him taking these fights that are going to get him high rankings with regional belts or whatever until the last fight on the fight Wilder.
That's what I see. I don't see him. Why would he jeopardize what Pierce is? Why would he jeopardize that? He's just going to continue to take easy fights. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Until the very last fight.
See when they joined ESPN, and remember it was him, Frank, and Bob, and Tyson said it was a 2-year deal, and fights in 4 would be in America. So he's going to have a fight in Britain as well in between. So he came out last week and said, I'm going to be fighting in December in the UK. So I honestly, I wouldn't be shocked to see him fight another bomb in Britain before the end of the year. Like, I really do. But this is going to be his second fight. So expect a few more bombs before the fight over. Definitely.
Well, the thing is,
see him fight Dirk Chisora again.
The trilogy, the Silver Sword, the trilogy. Well, the thing is this: he's fighting when? No, that's Wilder. He's fighting in September. That's
14th of September.
14th of September he's fighting, and then he's gonna fight. He's saying in December. That's what, 2 months after? What, 3 months after?
Yeah.
September, October, November, December. 3 months after he's fighting, and then 2 months after that he's fighting Wilder.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that likely?
Three
fights in 6 months.
I guess a lot of it will depend on what happens with this AJ rematch.
Actually, 5 months. Yeah, but carry on. It's actually 5 months. 3 fights in 5 months. But carry on. Yeah.
That's pushing it,
mate. That's pushing it.
But if 2 of them are bums, maybe it's not going to be such a big push if he's not going to take damage. I don't know. I don't know.
If we go 6 rounds with Wally, then he'll look to be within a couple of months. That's the way we're looking at it.
Yep. Yeah.
He only went 1 round with was it 2 rounds? He only went 2 rounds with Schwartz, didn't he?
Yeah, that works. And
Yeah.
he hasn't in what 6 months. So he's just had the one camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't taken any damage, so maybe it's more probable. Maybe it's more probable than I'd anticipated.
You know,
Yeah.
the UK for Christmas Day, he's going to be pushing for a pay-per-view the last Saturday before Christmas. Beat a bum, make some money, and then have Christmas.
Quite likely. We will see.
We'll see how
We'll
they
see.
can roll it.
I mean, I've got no problems with Tyson Fury doing well, who he wants to fight, and then fighting a big fight to end his contract, but I wish he'd be honest about it instead of talking so much shit. But then we'd have nothing to talk about, I suppose.
Well, that's Tyson Fury, isn't it? He's you know, it's one of those kind of artists, isn't he? And then he criticizes other fighters for not fighting caliber opponents.
Yeah. I guess he's trying to keep the fans happy with what he's saying, but he's just not doing what he's saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So,
but I mean, it's nice of him. I mean, we can't overlook the generosity of the guy. You know, he's given 2 European guys the opportunity to delineate.
yes. Yep. I guess these guys had to step up and fight some. Why not
fight for the delineate?
against? Yeah, why not fight against the guy who's highly regarded around the world as well? Best boxers in the division. If you take a loss to him, so learn from on. Yeah.
Is he ring rubber as well now?
Yeah.
He
Yes, they made Fury ring magazine #1. Yeah.
Nice. So he's got titles, but it's on the belts.
Yeah.
He's also the WBO Intercontinental. Let's not forget that.
Yes. Oh, that belt you were talking about with Robert Helenius, was it the IBF International? How come?
Because it was against Washington, but obviously the belt wasn't on the line because Washington wasn't there. So what happens is that belt just becomes vacant again.
Okay. I was wondering about that belt. So.
It just becomes a vacant belt.
Okay.
Linus used to be the old silver champ.
Before White took it off him. WBC. Okay.
That's for vacant. That white fight, that was a vacant.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there is a belt that's just become probably see somebody pick up real soon as well. Let's say the WBC International Silver, which is Nathan Gorman held that for about 2 years. BC International belts held by Herkovich, so somebody will be looking to pick that belt up, hoping Herkovich eventually keys that belt up so they get a shot. That's usually how you do the international. So that's vacant now. So somebody will pick that up in the next fight. Somebody, an up and coming boxer, picks that up straight away. So expect that to be in the line for somebody.
Speaking of a fight coming up on the weekend, it's just a run out. He's going to be fighting Mario Heredia. If I'm being honest, he has a record of 16-6-1, so definitely just a run out. He's going to be in title contention within the next kind of year, I think, if he continues fighting decent opponents. He's top of my prospect watch list at the moment. So we'll see what happens, but what's happening in the next couple of weeks, except we do have Alexander Povetkin versus Huey Fury coming up at the end of the month on the 31st.
Well, I forgot about that one.
I think that's a very intriguing fight.
Very much so. Very much so.
Very much of totally opposite styles. I can't even really pick how it's going to go. I think it's either going to be a stop picking or a points win by Huey. How do you guys think that one may go? You want to start, Rafi?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it'd be nice to see. Huey Fury in a real fight for a while. Povetkin. How much? The question for me is how much does Povetkin have left? How much revolves around? I think it revolves around Povetkin. If Povetkin comes in with a good tank, I'm Povetkin stopping him. But Huey Fury, his evasiveness, you have to factor in this. I see Huey Fury doing a lot of running from Huey, a lot of chasing from Povetkin. Povetkin looking to land, but ultimately, will he land? Will Povetkin land? If he lands, I think he takes out. If he lands, I think he takes out Huey. Yeah, it's just Huey Fury's evasiveness. I think he'll be on his. If Huey Fury stands in front of him, but I think Huey Fury is going to be on his unicycle in that bout.
Yeah, just a question of catch up with them or not, I guess.
Yes.
What do you reckon there, Marla? You want to go at that
What
one?
was that one?
Povetkin versus Huey.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards Povetkin, but I haven't decided whether he's going to be able to catch up and to knock him out, enough just to beat him down and get the points on him. It's has he got the legs to chase Fury and catch up to him? At his own, I'm struggling with. Yeah. But I'm going to go for Povetkin.
Fair enough. You want to have a go at that one? Get the smoke?
Sure. Huey Fury is like one of the nicest guys in the ring I've seen outside. He's the worst shopkeeper. Nobody would pay at all. The name of the game is make him miss and make him pay. He's only got half the game. That being said, the last time we saw Povetkin was some time ago. He didn't look like a 12-round fighter. He has an athletic style that doesn't lend itself to old age or the deterioration over time. That's without the whole cloud of performance enhancers. I think this is a great opportunity for Huey to get a points win.
Fair enough.
And that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah.
And I was going to go to Double E, but he's dropped off. What about you, Tommy? What do you reckon? You still there, bud?
Oh, I'm still here. I reckon it's going to catch him, but for me, that's not the question. The question is, can Povetkin catch him and finish him off? He probably will be able to do that. So I'm going to go with Povetkin by a late knockout.
Cool, late. One even. Cool, Les. Alright, so my thoughts, I think Povetkin's going to land on somewhere around round 3, land a good shot on him, and that's going to turn Huey negative. He's going to start running from then on. He's going to be throwing that jab out there and starting to run away before the jab lands. So it's going to touch Povetkin's face and going to make his head move. So for me, they're not scoring shots if you're just touching and not doing anything. If have a change of heart later in the fight, decides that I need a knockout to win, starts trying to throw big punches. When he does that, his punches a jab, and then his right hand goes 5 meters back before he starts to throw it, and it goes really wide. It's really slow. It's really easy to, and it doesn't have much behind it. He doesn't throw straight punches for me when he's trying to be aggressive. So I don't think he can hurt Povetkin. Probably will tire in the later rounds, and I might actually go and put a bet on it because I think Povetkin on points So yeah, I'm picking Povetkin, but I wouldn't be surprised if Povetkin does stop Huey whatsoever. I would be surprised if Huey can stop Povetkin. But yeah, very intriguing fight. Very
much.
Yeah.
So that's one to look forward to.
Definitely. What are you gonna say there, Smoke?
Oh, I was going to say that of the three, I think that probably most likely that it's Povetkin on points, but or Povetkin by knockout. I actually think, but I feel like Eddie Hearn sees something and. They can't all be wrong. Like I'm imagining that the cards will be stacked for Fury, Povetkin. So yeah. So unless Povetkin can knock him out, I think it'll be close enough that Huey would be maybe a controversial fight for maybe albeit a controversial one.
Yep.
Yeah, but I see if he goes to points. If he goes to then I think Fury. I think he goes to Fury. Yeah, if Povetkin doesn't stop him, I think he goes to Fury. That he won't stop him. But if he doesn't, then I think Fury gets the points win. That's my pick.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But the reason I talk about Povetkin, if Povetkin does land that bigger shot that I was talking about earlier on in the fight, and Huey goes too negative.
Yeah.
Look at it nicely, like they did against Parker. You know, so it is at the O2.
When did that When did that Parker fight take place?
Where it was in Manchester Arena.
Okay.
Huey would have some favour, somewhat, but he didn't.
No, he didn't.
I think one of the judges was it Terry O'Connor, 118, 110, and I thought that was extremely wide. And Terry O'Connor affiliations with the Fury, so you would have thought he would have had some kind of favour a little bit towards Huey, but maybe he was trying to prove a point with his score. Don't have any affiliation with them. I'm not biased.
I don't know those guys.
Yeah, I don't know those guys. Was it David?
118. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, but I think I scored at 115, 113 Parker myself.
Yeah, it was close. And use negativity though. I think use negativity, backpedaling, laying against the ropes almost.
Yeah. Also on that card, we can't forget it's the big Vasily Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell fight is on that card as well.
Yeah.
Through and see how you guys think that fight's gonna go. You want to kick it off again, Rafi?
Yeah, I'll go first. I can't see Cole not winning.
Yeah.
I just can't see. I mean, all I'm hoping for that fight, to be honest with you, is that Luke puts up. What I'm hoping for that fight is that Luke represents himself to the best of his ability.
Yeah, makes a good account of himself to look like a fool. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe the crowd can boost, turn him up a level. And so I'm just hoping that Luke makes a good account of himself. That's what I'm hoping for that fight.
What about you, Smoke?
Yeah, they prefer the Luke Campbell, Devin Haney, definitely.
That's more competitive.
Yeah, this is Crolla than Canada than Crolla, I guess. But I would definitely am looking forward to see if the ref has another one of those body cams.
Yeah. Okay. So Lomachenko, you think it's going to be a no muss again?
No, I think he's what is it? I think that all right. So both of them are lefties, right?
Yes.
So So nice to see Loma against lefty and see how his step over, right? How he adjusts for the step over. But I think that Luke his hands out. He doesn't bring his hands back fast enough. And when that happens, Loma is going to have his choice of either pull shots to the head or body or both. So I think he's just gonna get his ass whooped, like comprehensively, really.
All right, Tommy, what do you think of Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell?
I'm going to go with Loma. It's probably going to be the most competitive fight we've seen Loma in for a long time, but that's probably all I can say.
You got much of an opinion on that one, Marla?
No, I haven't watched enough of them, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Dedicated heavyweight fan over here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good on you, mate. Good on you. All right, I'm picking Lomachenko, and I'm going to say around 8 stoppage. I think it'll be a referee. I think Luke Campbell will do fairly well in the early rounds, make it competitive, but I think kind of round 5 onwards, it's going to start geared, and by round 8, the ref's going to say, "You've had enough, son. Go and take a seat. Good try." Yeah. But, no offense to Luke Campbell. Got to give him credit for stepping in there. Vasily Lomachenko is pound for pound best fighters these days. So
easily,
if he can make it competitive and make it entertaining for at least half of the fight, then yeah, I don't think he has much of a chance of beating Vasily Lomachenko.
No.
What else? Okay, now's the time, fellas. If there's anything else you'd like to bring up, we can chat about something else, boxing, before I think about closing it down. So, anybody got any topics they would like to bring up?
Not for me. It's approaching my bedtime now, so.
Fair enough.
Confirmation on Usyk Takum?
No, there's still no confirmation on that. If Takum hadn't have gone and signed with another promoter in start, he would have got the fight, but he's gone and done that. Now Eddie Hearn can't double dip on it, so I imagine he's in the list for potential opponents. Alexander Usyk still has a confirmed fight for Chicago on the... what was the date? I have to look that up. Alexander Usyk, boxer. Where is it? There it is. Oh, Alexander, the Cruiserweight King, or former Cruiserweight King. Okay, I saw an article that had confirmed his fight venue the other day, but there's nothing on BoxRec. I believe it was like the 4th of September or something like that.
It's supposed
Maybe.
to be in America?
Yeah, in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right.
So the date and venue is confirmed, but no, it may still be Carlos Takam if they can't find someone suitable to step in there with Usyk, but a lot of heavyweights in his stable at the moment. Some of them are busy, obviously.
Yeah.
But maybe it's something to possibly look at.
Dillian
doubt it.
White versus Usyk. That's it.
I mean, there's no confirmation of Parker versus Chisora as yet.
That's still not confirmed. That's still not.
They were talking about that fight being on the Joshua Ruiz undercard, which isn't a certain thing as yet, but from what I heard, Joseph Park times this year. So it's a possibility of either Parker or Chisora getting slotted in there, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, as well, there's Murat Gassiev, but Usyk's already fought him last year, so I don't think that one's that. He's also got Marco Huck on his books at the moment too, doesn't he? But Usyk's also fought him, so not likely. It's interesting. We must be getting some kind of confirmation shortly because the fight isn't too far around the corner. So very interested to see how Alexander Usyk's going to go at heavyweight, and there's a lot of people saying things like Usyk's not going to be able the power of a natural heavyweight. I totally disagree with that. He's fought real heavyweights prior to had no problem beating the likes of Joe Joyce and BFR.
Yeah, that's right.
And you got to remember that natural heavyweights against Usyk as well, so hitting him is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Let alone hit.
Look at Evander Holyfield. He came up and he had
Yep.
Ali came up and had a good chin at heavyweight, so there's no reason why he can't come up and have a good chin, Usyk.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of heavyweights that he's not a small guy. So, I mean, he's not a monster as a heavyweight, but he's 6'3", which is bigger than Chisora. There's quite a few guys that he take out.
Tony Bell took hands on him. I fear for his chin at the higher levels. He better do a lot of, and he's not really that. I mean, he's decent defensively. But he's there. He gets hit. So he's gonna run into some trouble.
I have no doubt there's going to be some trouble for Usyk when guys do him, but even when he does get hit a lot, he seems to be moving either with the punch or he never seems to get hit completely free. But
definitely.
It's boxing, so there will be a day where he is going to get caught completely at heavyweight, and it's going to hurt, and we're going to know a hell of a lot more about his chin when that day comes. It's give a lot of guys a shitload of problems at heavyweight, a lot of elite level heavyweights. So interested.
And I would like to see the Usyk Konaki. Even after Konaki his last fight, he absorbs just so much punishment, and won't stop coming forward. So I'd be interested to that more than a Takam fight, or even really a Ruiz fight. I feel I don't know, a barometer of skill beforehand. I think Ruiz is kind of a lot for your first test, but Usyk.
Do you guys think maybe it's a possibility once Miller comes off his suspension that he could be considered to fight Usyk?
He'd be considered, but would he want to fight Usyk? Would he want to fight him, or why wouldn't he?
Well,
like Parker Usyk would be a good fight, but I don't know if Parker's camp would risk it at this point because they don't want another loss.
I agree.
So I think they'll probably stay away for now.
It's a great fight for maybe two fights down the track.
Yeah,
Parker wins a couple more.
Yeah.
They're both very.
Well, thinking about it now, I mean, that would be for Miller. I think you'd have to jump at that fight with Usyk.
Oh no, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If Eddie's prepared to give him that shot and he's out of a suspension, then it's a good way for him to try and get back in the scene.
Yeah. You'd have to jump straight, and he's straight right back. In well, that's almost title contention, isn't it? Almost.
Even if he lost to Usyk by points and it was a close fight, he'd still gain some kind of decent publicity out of it. So
yeah. That would be an interesting fight.
But the only issue is, as a promoter putting on, the business of boxing, you have two real non Uncommodic and Miller together. Where are they going to put that? Like Peoria? I don't know. Also, where Hearn has the strangest places for picking who don't really have much of a following. He has taken to places where I know traditionally you wouldn't even get a following for these people. Usyk to Chicago makes absolutely no sense. He's not Polish, and like where he takes him in Chicago doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it.
I could understand Miller Usyk being in Brooklyn at the Barclays.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of a follow.
The problem is the Barclays is exclusive to the PBC. That's why Danny Jacobs and Big Miller had to leave. They got kicked out of their own hometown venue. They're fighting like Armory Park or something in Long Island. Yeah, that's why they're going to MSG. It's only PBC is the exclusive home to the Barclays Center. The only other team that's there is the Brooklyn Nets, and they get to use the locker room. Yep, the whole nine.
Well, I learned something today. I did not know it was exclusive to PBC. That's a bit ratchet, but it is what it is.
That's the your Mark connection, isn't it? The guy who owns the Barclays Center, and he's also sits on some kind of board for the PBC.
And that's another reason why Wilder's got his merchandise shop in there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that, but there you go.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think that probably wraps it up for today, guys. So a big thank you for everybody who turned up in the chat. Wouldn't be the same way. And the biggest thank you to you guys turned up on the panel. We have Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio. He has a chat out. Make sure you get over there and do so. We also have Tommy Temper here, who also has a channel. Make sure you get over and check out some of his. For sure his live streams will be coming back once he's sorted. And a big thank you to Get the Smoke, Marlo, and Double A Boxing and Blunts, who has left the building. But
big
that's us.
To Big Boys Boxing. Subscribe if you have not already done so to Big Boys Boxing.
Thanks. All right, so
Triple B, thanks.
No worries, man. Anytime. So that's us for today. I'll join us next time, and we'll catch you on the flip side. This is Big Boys Boxing. I'm out.
See you, man.